My name is Alan. In 2019, I started restoring my 1974 Airstream, ditching a lot of my belongings and planning to live full-time on the road. In this video, we take a look at walls, insulation, and me getting electrocuted. But first, a 10-second tidy. What's going on there, YouTube? Yesterday was a fairly long day. Lots of stuff that I've been shooting, so I didn't do a ton of recording, but I can sort of walk you through what I did do. So went ahead and sort of redesigned this cabinet here. Or the closet from this way, and turned out really nice. And I added another light, a third light to the bathroom. 1, 2, 3. I'm probably going to put a mirror here, so I figured why not add the third light sort of shining in, and yeah, so there's that. A lot of small things, but taking a long time. Add that piece of wall and did the electrical on that plug-in as well, and then I added this piece of wall. I left off here, so I'm gonna have to reroute some wires. You can see them coming in here, and then finish the lower section of that wall out, and then start going from there. I'm having to do a lot of rewiring because I wanted to hook all the electrical up and really run it through its paces and make sure that it was going to work and that there was no issues with any of it while it was open and bare, so I could be for certain that once I put these walls up, I'm not going to be taking them down trying to find wiring issues. So that's sort of the concept behind that. And plus, it was such a huge electrical project that that I sort of had to. I didn't necessarily go with what the original factory layout was. I added plugs. I added all new DC wire. Sure, I think I'm going to sneeze. Added all new DC wire. I went ahead and added a bus bar, which I'm going to leave open so I can have access to it. And there's going to be a hanging cabinet here, so I can track down. Of course, they're all going to be labeled. Most of those are just lights anyways. And I've routed everything else to the Blue Sea Safety Hub 150, and this is the solar setup so far that I did, and this was a whole project. So there were so many new factors in the situation electronically that I had to run it all bare to make sure there wasn't any issues. Once I get closer to the build out on the bed and get that buttoned up a little bit, I'm going to do a good video on the solar system that I'm starting out with and what my plans are on adding to that as well. So there's a lot of things in the works here. Some of it's just repetitive.
Keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position with just giving with no concerns.
99 degrees here in the Airstream. It's hot. I'm trying to embrace it and not run the air conditioner. Don't ask me why. I think my body needs to sweat anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and embrace it and keep working. So yesterday I didn't get it on film because I was stripping paint off of some of the screens or the window sills, and it was just a long process, and it was a messy one, and I did not want to get any kind of old paint residue or anything on my camera or my lens or any of it, any of my rigs. So I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of what I got going on and what I think my plans are with it. So hopefully the sun's not killing that out too much. But as you can see, it's going to be a little different. What I think I'm going to do is go ahead and get them polished. It's not really what I really wanted to do, but at the same time, I think it's the right thing to do. And there's a company that one of my buddies actually works for. I didn't know this till later. They restore Airstreams, and they're in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's called Vintage Base Camp, I think is the name of it. And they do some awesome custom Airstream work. So I messaged Chuck today, and I'm going to try to follow up tomorrow. I just think with them polished, then it'll match up with the all-clad a little bit better. I'm going to see what they're going to charge me on it. I know they do some really good work, so they charge accordingly. And I think I have like 7 windows and 2 of the little circular or oval windows that I just showed you that I'm gonna go ahead and get polished out so to match the all clad a little bit better. So I just kind of stopped with that. And the back one, the back bathroom, I think I'm just gonna paint white. I don't know, we'll see. I might get it polished too, just for some accent. But yesterday got that panel installed, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna go ahead. This is the first one that I messed up on, actually. So everything has been overlapping this way so far, and I'll show you what I mean. This might be a better example. It's all coming this way. So when you walk in, you don't see any of the seams. You just you don't see the gap. And I continued doing it that way, and I was standing here and I seen the gap. So it's been about a year or so since I've had these panels on, but I guess after the doorway, just like siding on a house, the gap changes. So when you're looking at it from this direction, you don't see the gap of the metal. This isn't overlapping this side, this is overlapping that side. So it changes. You know, it made a lot of sense as soon as I realized it. So we took it out from front to back. So I just assumed that it all went back in that direction, and you know, as soon as I realized my mistake, it made sense. So just throwing that out there. If you happen to buy a shell and it might be demoed out or something like that, something to keep in mind. I know it seems like common sense, but when you're in the thick of it, you know, you're like, just one of those moments, you know. But I went ahead and cut this piece for that corner. I'm gonna put I got my hole marked down there, and I'm gonna put a couple holes in there with rubber grommets. So there's the back side of the panel with the access holes for the wires. I went ahead and put Sikaflex on the back of the rubber grommets to hopefully ensure that they stay into place. And it's still super duper hot. It's 95 now, so that's a plus. But that's been sitting for a couple hours. I'm gonna let it sit overnight, so I went ahead and jumped in on something else. And this is what we're after. So working on this corner. I still don't know what I'm going to do about the frame around the window. It was plastic, so I'm going to come up with something super creative on that. But getting ready to install this corner piece and tuck it all in, get it all buttoned up, and then I'm going to be almost out of insulation, so I'm going to have to go get some more insulation. And that piece laying on the ground back there goes right there. Might have enough to sneak that corner piece in, but not for sure on that yet. We'll see. I think I'm going to be a little bit shy, but that's it, and I'll probably be done for the day after that. So if you're following the content and you're enjoying it and you like the channel, I'll tell you, I've had more fun with this project probably in my entire life, and I haven't even left the driveway yet. So make sure to like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can stay tuned to the journey on, you know, where I go and what I do, and tiny house living in 25-foot Airstream. Lots of fear being processed and lots of change, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that whole story as well, possibly in another video. But we're getting close. Hopefully by the end of 2020 I will be in this thing, so that's the deal. Wow. Small warning. Okay, so these are the two front pieces of the window trim where I'm working right now. And to keep from fabricating new pieces, I'm just going to reuse them. Even though I'm not going to use the end cap that match them, I'm going to do a custom aluminum end cap. It's going to look really cool. So I went ahead and picked up some flat soft iron paint, and I'm just going to paint them. And I wanted it a little bit darker. I didn't want to go silver. I wanted a little bit darker, and I didn't want to go white because it would have just stuck out like a sore thumb, I felt like, with just two pieces of white trim in the front. So this was the option, just a little bit darker so it looks a little bit more natural. And I'm just going to try it. I'm not going to go crazy with it today. I'm going to try the backs, and there's a lot of wind. Hopefully I don't get any overspray on my lens, but we're going to try it out and see if this will actually work and see what that looks like. Definitely some overspray. Probably gonna go ahead and put the camera up and show you the final result and see if it's something that I feel like I'm gonna go with. another long hot day. That's 2 in a row. Gotta put on my sweatband. It was pouring sweat, but I had got some really neat stuff done today. Hope you like that footage, and I'll just sort of give you the quick fit rundown. So added the plug-ins above the bed, left and right, and did 2/3 of the corner on both sides, getting ready for the end cap. And this is the trim that I did with that metal iron or something. I didn't want to go black. Maybe I should have, I don't know. I'm just looking for something that kind of matched the walls a little bit better, but not silver, metallic silver. So I think I like them for now anyways. That one just sort of test fitted in there. And of course it'll have the window trim, and I'll put the last piece in as well. And kind of just got everything cleccoed into place, because here's where my wires run out. So that was the finished product of that. I'm still going to get some black Sikaflex and seal that. I sealed them from the back. They did not hold up, so which is fine. I didn't know if they were. It was just a test or a trial. But that's that. I'm waiting on this piece. I actually cut that off. It went all the way over, but I wanted to put aluminum here, not that old white. So I got to kind of guess where my my counter's gonna end, and where I'm gonna match it up. As you can see, the door line to the floor, you can see it would end up here, but I think I'm even gonna go all the way over to here, or maybe cut one piece for a complete stainless steel backsplash, or I might just do tile backsplash, just a small, like 5 or 6 inch, to cover up the white, to go from the butcher block transition to the aluminum. Just want to thank you for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I hope everyone's learning something, whether you're doing van life or RV, Airstream, tiny house. It's basically what it is. It's all the same stuff on a different scale, and this will be my tiny home on wheels. Hopefully by the end of 2020 I will be in this thing regardless if it's done. Like, I got to constantly budget, and I'm so tired of paying rent and for somewhere to sleep when I got this thing. And you know, I got a lot of overhead with the house and the lab and just all sorts of stuff, and I feel like if I could just dedicate myself, whether it's finished or not, in like 2 months, and move in it and save all that money monthly from my renting the house and all my overhead and bills and utilities, and put into this, or start saving it. You just never know. The money always comes somehow, some way. So that's sort of where I'm at with it, and kind of pushing myself to do the deadline thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, peace.
Slam dunk, are you ready to make